So we're not going to be prospective in going through the presentation today, but we are going to be suggestive that at least one methodology might be used initially for you to start the discovery process. And so we will be suggestive, but we're not going to be prospective. We're going to really hope to give you an overview of the many methods and traditions from which resilience assessment and analysis occurs. And notice the title here is Analysis and Assessment Analysis Towards Knowledge and Wisdom about Resilience. And this is really where there is value added from this network. Okay? If once you, in fact many of you have, right, looked at the resilience literature that we passed along to you, quite a few readings and PowerPoint slides and so forth. And what probably you noticed is that there is an awful lot of quantitative indicator data surrounding resilience. And that's great. It's great to be able to quantify, and we're going to even suggest that you do it with respect to your problem areas and so forth. However, there is a difference between data, knowledge, wisdom. Data, information, knowledge, wisdom, that's kind of the hierarchy. And we like to get to wisdom and knowledge, which means that we can make sense of data, that we can actually interpret it and use it ultimately for decision making. So in a sense, what we're hoping that you can do is move from where we are now, which was really data and information, a lot of it, about resilience, right, to knowledge and wisdom. And you know, how do we get there? And you know, what is part of the way that we get there? Well, one of the ways is that we recognize and access what we call tacit knowledge. And really, often when we talk about knowledge, we talk about explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. And explicit knowledge is what's codified, what's in Wikipedia, if you believe in Wikipedia, and what's in the scientific literature as accepted by peers and so forth. That's explicit knowledge. But tacit knowledge is knowledge that's out there, lots of knowledge that's not been codified, that resides in people, in communities, and has not yet been put to paper, brought to the scientific forms. And that's going to be a remarkable opportunity for you. And of course, the whole assumption of RAND is that all of you already contain lots of tacit knowledge that isn't in the literature by virtue of being parts of communities and being so close to communities. It was an area where I felt that Katrina brought out a lot of tacit knowledge of the professors of Tulane. And this was ultimately transformational for the university. We became a practice-oriented, community-oriented organization because we realized how important tacit knowledge was, and also how much it's ignored in the practice, in the global practice community, or national practice community as it was in New Orleans. So the key here is to say, you know, how do we go from all these indicators and so forth, some of which we're going to suggest that you do, and then how do you make that really meaningful information about resilience that can be translated back into policy and practice? So I always like to point out this tacit, explicit knowledge thing, and how it often adds value to the data to wisdom hierarchy, how it often does that. And so keep that in mind as we go along today in this presentation. So what we'd like to do is look at the state of resilience assessment and analysis and its role in resilience programming, some of the frameworks, methods, and approaches for resilience assessment and analysis, and some of the common, traditional, and novel resilience data sources, and then contextualizing it. And we are going to go a step farther. In listening to the presentations yesterday, you now have these. And so we now can make, I think, at least one set of practical recommendations for some of the groups with respect to how you might go about starting the process of studying resilience in your target communities. So what is the status of resilience assessment analysis? I gave you some clues: multiplicity of approaches, multiplicity of definitions. They are clustered around different programmatic groups, as we talked about, the conflict mitigation people, food security people, climate change. Those are three very prominent communities of practitioners and discipline and problem focuses, scientific communities that are publishing and talking about this problem of resilience and bringing different tools and perspectives to it.